Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the What's Up podcast, the World of Tanks podcast that you need to listen to find out everything regarding World of Tanks. And of course, today we are talking about another topic, Season 1, Episode 2. We're talking about clans today. What's the point in clans? Why bother with clans? And what's the benefit of being in a clan? Or why would you want to avoid clans? And today, joining me is a fellow clan member at one point, someone who's been in clans with me for a very, very long time. We've known each other for a good 5 to 6 years now, in the same community for several years, multiple different communities. Today we are joined by Twitch streamer and World of Tanks player, GoatingVirtual, also known as Game of Tanks. Goat, say hello to everybody.
Hello,
How you doing today, Goat?
I'm doing alright. How
Good,
about
good.
you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. For context, what clan are you in currently?
Currently I am in the clan Spesh.
Spesh, nice. And you've been there just for a day or two now, right?
Yeah, I just joined yesterday and I
Nice.
just started playing in advances.
So of course, me and Goat, we've both been in the unique Universal United Legacy community for almost how many years was it, Goat? 3 to 4 years, I think.
I think
Um,
it was actually 3 years for me.
yeah, it probably was. I think it was slightly longer for me. Then, of course, I went over to Evolve and Uni community. Then I went over to TDPX, and then I started up Phalanx at one point, the Grand Phalanx. At which point you did join me the first time round. For the majority of that time, we shut the clan down due to reasons. We'll get into that sometime later on in this podcast. Of course, we restarted the clan afterwards, and you did rejoin towards the end there. But you know, dying dreams need to be let go of sometimes. So of course we disbanded the clan once again, and we will be getting into that at some point, hopefully. But how are you finding Spesh on your first day?
Well, currently, from the first few battles I've had with them, it's very enjoyable because there's a lot of communication between everybody.
And just for context, for those who don't know, what sort of communication are we talking about during clan battles?
Well, communication in such as like focusing fire on the different targets, making sure that they know what they're where they're going, letting people know where the artillery maybe is.
So definitely just all useful communication, no irrelevant stuff in between. Which of
Exactly.
course was a problem that we had to try and deal with quite a few times over in Phalanx, right? Um,
Yeah.
Moving on though, so in today's episode, we're going to be covering multiple different things. For the first 5 to 10 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about the difference between casual and competitive clans, and what clans actually are for those of you who don't know, and why some people love being in clans, and what they bring to the table for players who don't yet have a clan. In the middle section of this podcast, we'll be talking about the perks of being in a casual clan, perks of being in a competitive clan, and can a clan have a balance of both competitive side and a casual side, or is it best if they just stick to one of those areas? We'll also touch upon why it's a good idea to go solo sometimes instead of being in a clan, and why it can be useful to avoid clans, or what the drawbacks of being in a clan is. We'll also be weighing in our own experiences there and our own personal thoughts. Towards the end, we'll be summarizing everything and talking about our personal experiences in clans, what the benefits of participating in clan activities specifically are, and what the drawbacks of it also are. So without any further ado, let us begin. All right. So clans are basically groups of players that sort of squad up. Essentially, you get a little badge, you get a little icon, um, and it's usually like around 100 members is the max you can have in a clan. And of course, multiple communities have more than one clan, so they have several clans to accommodate more than 100 members, of course. Like they'll have a main clan, a secondary clan, third clan, fourth clan, so on, right? But essentially what it is a group of players who, depending on what the aim of the clan is or what the goal of the clan is, usually in most cases, they team up and they play skirmishes or clan wars or global map battles, which is basically clan versus clan matches, essentially World of Tanks competitive, basically. It's where tactics come into play. It's where communication comes into play. It's where teamwork comes into play more than ever in the game, as opposed to what you'd see in a random battle or in ranked battles or in training rooms or in the events like Team Clash or whatever, right? Essentially, what it is it's a band of brothers essentially, or sisters. It's a community where people are there for each other. They play with each other on a regular basis. They support each other, and they participate in activities together on a regular basis, for the sake of the team play. And that's really why a lot of people love clans, because it's a community. It goes beyond the game. It sort of transcends beyond just being part of a game, because a lot of these clans evolve into, or a lot of these members evolve into having actual sort of friendships and bonds with the other members that they've been playing with for ages and ages and ages, and end on end on end, right? So they get to know each other. They consider each other close friends. Team chemistry starts to come in there. That team chemistry you'd see in a football team. You start to see similar sort of chemistry amongst the players in the clan, right? Because they get to know each other after such a long period of time, and they go through so many matches together. They learn each other's ins and outs in terms of how they play. And that's essentially why people love being in a clan. So clans are essentially competitive teams a lot of the time. Sometimes it's just a social community, but we'll get into that in a moment. But really, it's just a bunch of people who get together in the game to meet one goal, or they have one specific aim. It might be compete in global map. It might be have a casual community where people can hang out or whatever, right? But they all have something in common, and they all strive towards the same goal, more or less. And they're there for the community, realistically speaking. It's a bit like a guild in other games. But Goat, why do you think so many people love the experience of being in a clan? What do you think it is that drives people towards joining a clan and sticking around for so long?
My opinion on that is there's two sides to why people would like to join in a clan. And the first reason is for social reasons. So you join a clan to get to know other people and improve your social skills with each other.
Right.
And you get to talk to each other. You get to share things with each other, like hobbies and stuff.
Right.
And the second reason why people might want to join a clan, which this goes like to a lot of people out there, I presume that, is for the rewards that you get for being a clan.
Right.
Especially when you reach the campaigns, you get really high rewards
That's
that
more
are
on the
very
competitive
good.
side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll get into those rewards in a moment. So hold that thought right there.
Yes.
What do clans really bring to the table, though, for people who don't have clans? What is it that they bring? What aspect is it that they bring to the game that you don't get from just playing random battles? What would you say about that?
I would say the communication between each other can build up different tactics in battles that you wouldn't have gotten in random battles because, well, you don't communicate in voice channels
Right.
in randoms. So when you play like in, for example, in a skirmish, you get to communicate, you get to strategize, you
Finish
get to
stuff.
work as a team.
Right. So yeah, it's probably all about the team aspect of it, right? The fact that it's more than just you, it's a group of people now. That's really what brings clans together, right? And that's what really brings the love of being in a clan to a lot of people, and the loyalty that people have towards clans. I think that's what it comes down to. Like you'll notice a lot of people who aren't in clans for the community aspect will jump from one clan to the other, and they'll never kind of settle. They're just looking for personal gain, right? But those who are like looking for that community aspect, when they join a clan that they like, one that's welcoming to them and one that's a community, then they'll do whatever it takes to stay in that community, because they love the people there, they love the atmosphere there, and I think that's what it's really about. It's the atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the atmosphere that really brings you closer to the clan.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Let's move on to what a casual clan is and what a competitive clan is. Shall we? So a casual clan is more of, in my opinion at least, and feel free to weigh in here, Go. My opinion on a casual clan is a clan that's just there for the social aspect, right? They're looking there to socialize with others. They're looking there to make friends. They're looking to, just have a bunch of people they can platoon with or game with occasionally, spend the evening with, just chill, talk about hobbies, talk about interests. That's really my take on social clans. What or casual clans? What's your take on casual clans?
Yeah, it's about the same for me as well. It's the more fun side of the size of clans
Yeah,
when
and
it
the
comes to.
definitely the less stressful side, right?
Yes, because you get to enjoy playing with each other instead of screaming at each other.
Right, yeah. Um, what about competitive clans? Like, what's your take on competitive clans? What is a competitive clan?
A competitive clan is a group of highly skilled players that strive for really high reward in the end.
Right,
Like we have the global map. When
right,
you compete in global map, you get to compete against other great clans,
right,
like for example Fame or Envil or Devi, even Meme, and
right,
those competitive clans then fight to get as much land as they possibly can, and then get as much points in the
right,
end to then get the highest rewards, which usually is gold, bonds, and reward vehicles.
right. Just for context, what is the global map? For those who don't know, how would you, if you had to real quick summarize what the global map is? How would you go about that? What would you say?
You battle for one type of land, and if you win that, you get to keep it, and the more you have, the harder it gets to defend them because you need
All
more
right.
teams.
So to elaborate on that for those who aren't aware of what the global map is, it's essentially world tanks basically split up. They take the actual, world map. They'll select the certain region. Usually it's mostly Central Europe, or Northern Europe. And what they'll do is they'll split up all the little countries into different provinces. I say little countries. They split up all the countries into little provinces, and these provinces have specific maps assigned to them, and they have specific times for battles assigned to them. And what you do is you battle against other clans in what we call tournament battles, which is basically knockout stages. And the last clan standing plays against the landowner if there is any. Um, and essentially, if you win that match, the province becomes yours, and that brings you an income of gold over every single day. So some provinces will make a lot of gold. Like for example, on the tier 8 front, you'll get some that make 72 gold, and then you'll get some that make 48 gold. Whereas on the tier 10 front, you'll get some that make like 120 gold, and some that even make more, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and what it comes down to is you want to win as many of these provinces as you can. But of course, if you have too many provinces and not enough players, then you have 4 battles at the same time on the same day, and you can't get a full team on each of those matches. So then you end up losing your provinces. Your tanks get locked out because you're landowner and you lose. So what it is it's essentially really competitive clan versus clan battles, either 10 versus 10 at tier 8 or 15 versus 15 at tier 10. It's very similar to campaign, only global map has tier 8 included. Campaigns only have tier 10, if I remember correctly, split across several different fronts of different difficulties. And the benefit of playing these competitive matches, the perks of being in these competitive clans and playing these competitive matches with them, in my opinion, is it really pushes you forwards, pushes you towards your potential as a World of Tanks player, as a good World of Tanks player, because you are surrounded by so many high-level players and so many competitive players that if you don't start pulling weight and start playing on their level, you'll probably find yourself out of that clan very quickly. And you can learn from all these people. You can learn the positions. You can learn the rotations from the FCs. There's so much to learn from playing competitive, and it helps you progress so much as a player. And at the end of it, if you do well, you get rewards such as Goat was saying, bonds, gold, and even the reward vehicles like the Chieftain, the VK, the Object 907, the M60, the T95E6, I believe it is.
Yes.
And some of these tanks are great. Like the Chieftain 907 have been. How powerful are they when you come across them in randoms, right?
Yeah, they're completely overpowered in the retrospect.
Right. Um, so yeah, that's the perks of being in a competitive clan. It just helps you push so far ahead of yourself. It helps you push to becoming such a great player compared to what you are right now if you haven't played in competitive, and it helps you learn the ins and outs of team play. Perks of being in a casual clan, what would you say, Go?
In a casual clan, you would have the time to get to know each other, because
Right.
that's more the style of the casual clan type.
Right.
Is that you don't compete much. You can compete, but it's not forced.
Right. It's not taken as seriously, right?
No, exactly. It's just for
For the laughs, yeah.
yeah,
Essentially, perks of being in a casual clan is it's a social environment, right? You're making friends, you're socializing. Heck, one time I joined the Dutch clan just to learn a bit of Dutch, right? That went well until I left and didn't speak Dutch anymore. In one of my clans, there was a select group of members who spoke Arabic, and I was doing Arabic GCSE at the time, so I'd go to these people and talk to them, to help progress myself. It's all about the social aspect. There's people there from many different backgrounds, with many different hobbies, and you can learn from each other. You can, socialize with each other, get to know each other. That's what the casual clans are there for. It's the environment, it's the atmosphere, it's the community more than being competitive and winning. And really knowing what you want from a clan is a huge thing, because if you want to be a casual player and you join a competitive clan, it will ruin your perspective on clans. And if you're a competitive player and you join a casual clan, it will ruin your perspective on clans. At least in my opinion. What do you think on that, Go?
yeah. Because if a competitive player joins a casual clan, it would interfere in a sort of way, because you take
Right,
it more seriously than the others in the casual clan.
right,
And if a casual player joins a competitive clan, most likely the player will be left out,
right, right.
because they won't
You won't meet their standards, essentially.
exactly.
Right. Moving on, we've talked about the perks of a casual clan and the perks of a competitive clan and what they are. So here's my big question to you, Go. Can a clan have a balance between both being casual and competitive? Now, I'm not talking about where they have separate clans, one for being competitive and one for being casual. Of course, we've known that time and time again that's been proven to be possible, right? Where you have, one Discord server or one TeamSpeak server, and you have, your main clan competitive or casual, and the second clan casual or competitive, whichever. One is competitive, the other one's casual. But can one single clan be both at the same time? What do you think?
This is very difficult to answer, because it would seem like it would be possible. I mean, looking at, for example, oh, I don't know, maybe meme. They're
Right.
kind of like,
Casual and competitive. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They do sometimes joke around, but they do know what they're doing.
Right. So it takes that level of being a competent player where you don't have to have such a strict and rigid structure in your clan to be
Exactly.
competitive, so that you can still be casual at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you're now bringing Phalanx into the mix, my clan, the Grand Phalanx, right? We might as well bring that into the mix because currently amongst a lot of our clan members or ex-clan members, it is definitely a hot topic and they want some closure to it. So let's bring it into the mix, shall we? The reason I shut down the clan realistically was, we tried to have both a competitive and a casual side, and unfortunately, at least in my opinion, the player base was not good enough or competent enough as individual players to do well on the competitive side with a lenient mentality. They needed a strict mentality to keep achieving high results, right? And the moment you loosen up on that and start being more casual, you see that the results start to slip. So it's a really hard balance to maintain. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's very hard to find the right balance between the casual and the competitive side, especially to like newer players.
Right.
Because if a new player wants to join a casual and a competitive side of a clan, it's a little bit more difficult because you don't know exactly what to do.
Right. Like, I
You're
mean,
still starting out,
perfect
and
example would be when, I asked the Grand Phalanx, do we want to do Clan Wars this season? And a lot of them said yes, right? And as we know, a lot of the members were new to the game, right? A lot of them didn't know much. So we start Clan Wars. I tell one guy to go to the middle of Ensk and spot with his gun, right? So you drive up to the corner. You don't actually peek around, but you just use, the bit where the gun barrel meets the mantlet to spot past, a corner, right? By aiming your gun off to the right or the left.
exactly the spotting points of
Yeah,
the
the
gun
spotting points.
methods.
So this guy didn't know how to do that, so he drives out side on. Instant delete. And now on Ensk, a small map, you're one tank down within the first minute of the game, and that's never a good sign. That's the sort of difficulty, in my opinion, that you find with having a casual and a competitive clan. It's finding out who to include in what activities. You know, if you have a semi-competitive clan, let's call it, one where it's social, but it's casual, but it's also competitive, and there's a lot of new members coming in. I think that's where the problem comes in when you have a lot of players that are inexperienced coming in. They need to know what they want. Do they want casual or do they want competitive? And they need to make that clear from the get-go, because if those players want competitive, they need to learn how to be competitive before they're allowed to participate. Otherwise, it costs you matches. Like we saw 2 nights ago, we had casual players trying to play tier 10 skirmishes with relatively competitive tactics, and it took them 2 minutes to move 1 or 2 sectors. Sorry, it took them 2 minutes before they started moving to the sector literally off to their right. And, that sort of thing, that delay in following out orders from the FC or whatever, that can cost you on the competitive side. But at the same point, if they want to just be casual, but they're participating in competitive activities, that stressed out mindset, that, let's say, overbearing mindset, can sort of leak over into the casual side of a clan and ruin it for those people because they feel too stressed or too pressured, right? And I think that's ultimately one of the issues, for example, that we came across with Phalanx, right? There were some people who wanted to be competitive, some people who wanted to be casual, and I couldn't realistically bring it together. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
very difficult to do that. It's
yeah.
very difficult to achieve.
Um, Moving on though, why would you so of course now I'm out of a clan, for example. Why go solo and avoid clans? What would you say? Is there any benefit to completely just avoiding clans and not participating in, or not being in a clan?
I don't actually really know because since I started playing, I almost immediately joined the clan.
Right.
Like, but it wasn't exactly immediate. It was somewhat like 2 years after I started playing.
That's a fairly big gap, to be honest.
Yeah,
But it was so long
so
ago that
yeah, it
you
was
couldn't.
very long ago.
Right. I mean, let's say from your experience in a clan, what reasons would people have to avoid clans or just play solo? Like, I guess if you're not into the entire competitive side and you're not looking to socialize, then I guess, like if World of Tanks is just a pastime where you just log in to escape your real life stresses or whatever, then it's probably a good idea to just avoid clans, right?
Yeah,
If you
if
don't have the commitment.
yeah, exactly. For some, it's like a hobby to
Right,
play World of Tanks instead of going all the way and communicating with others with
right.
clans.
For some people, it's just a pastime, essentially, right?
Exactly.
And they don't have the commitment, they don't have the time, and they're not willing to put in the effort to help, sustain a clan essentially. And I guess those people should probably avoid clans and stay solo, right?
Exactly.
Fair enough. What are the drawbacks of being in a clan? What do you think? Like, aside from let's say, we've talked about on the competitive side, there's the entire stress level factor, the constant push to improve and the constant push to, get better or get dropped out of the community, essentially, right?
Yes.
What are the other drawbacks of being in a clan?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that either because, I mean, sure, if you're in a if you're not in a competitive clan and you just do it for the fun of it, uh, it's you don't get much rewarded either for that. I mean,
Right.
in the competitive side,
You get a
you get to
payoff
earn.
for your efforts, right? Like,
Yeah, you get rewards for your efforts in gold, vehicles, and other stuff.
right, bonds, reserves, whatnot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Because not only is it just that, it's real money. Gold is real money, real life currency
it's
that
got
you
actual
waste.
monetary value, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you play a campaign in a really competitive clan, right? So let's say new clan was campaign literally about to start as we're recording this, right? What's it called?
Yes.
Metal Wars or something? Cringe name, wargaming. But
Yeah, I think it was that.
I mean, kudos for trying, right? But for example, like if you aren't in a super competitive clan, which can get tier 10 reward vehicles like the Chieftain and whatnot, you can still get the tier 8 vehicles, right? Like the Lance and Sea or the Carnarvon AX, or I think there was a couple of tier 7s as well, like the Type 62, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Those are tanks you can actually buy in the premium shop. They have actual monetary value. So if you are putting in 2 hours a day in Clan Wars for 14 days a week, right? And you get something worth 30 quid. Is that worth your money? Probably not. If you have a job, probably not. But if you don't have a job, it probably is worth your time because your hours are actually equating to some sort of value in some sense, right? Now,
exactly.
of course, you can't trade that in for actual money. You can't trade that reward vehicle in for actual money, but you know that that time you've put in, you've actually like got some value out of that time. It hasn't just been a waste, right? You've got yourself a premium tank which you can now use to grind credits, grind XP, grind crew XP, right? And you don't have to waste money that you've worked hard for on actually buying that exact same tank, right? Whereas in a casual
Yes.
clan, you don't get that reward. You don't get that payback essentially for putting in the hours, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when you earn the gold in the clan wars, essentially you're making yourself not being able to waste your real life money on it because you
Right.
already get the gold from going into clan wars.
Right, and this is one of the ways of counteracting the pay to win mentality in World of Tanks where, oh, I have to buy gold to be able to do this or to do this or to do this, right? No, you
Yes,
don't, because you could participate in clans and get the same sort of rewards. You can get gold, you can get bonds, you can get equipment from those bonds, you can get credits, right? Because clans usually run credit boosters during clan wars and clan activities, and you can get reward vehicles which help out with grinding, so you don't actually have to buy any of those things, right? um,
exactly.
but
But
yeah.
there are, of course, some exceptions. Like there's
Oh yeah, yeah,
only some exclusive premium tanks inside the premium shop that
yeah,
it's only for the.
that won't turn up on the global map, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They
but
are for real money only,
but
most.
vice versa, you'd also get some tanks which you can only get from in game. Now, I don't condone selling your account, right? But let's say you play World of Tanks, you get yourself a Chieftain, you get yourself a 907, you get yourself the Object 780 when that comes out from playing in Clan Wars, right? And then let's say you quit the game, right? Well, that account of yours, now, again, just to be clear, I don't condone anyone selling their account. I don't think it's a good idea and I don't approve of it. But if you went ahead and put that account on sale, you'd actually get a ton of money out of it on the sole basis that you have those 3 vehicles, which once again is showing, right? I'm not saying do this, but it's showing that your time that you put into the competitive side of a clan actually has some sort of value to it in terms of monetary sense, right? Like, there's actual value to it. It's not just playing the game for the sake of playing the game. You actually get something worth that time at the end of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on though, right? Once again, drawbacks of clans. What are your thoughts on toxic communities? Because, you know, we've been in quite a few clans now. We've met quite a few people, and there's some people that are flat out just toxic and make communities toxic, you know? What are your thoughts?
I would say you would absolutely need to leave the clan right away, because a toxic clan is never good for anybody.
Yeah.
Never good.
I mean,
Because when it affects you, it permanently affects you in some
right,
kind of way,
right.
and it's really, really bad for you.
What would
And
what would you define as a toxic community?
I would define as a toxic community as a form of a clan that often uses swear words
Right,
or racial slurs, or
right,
posting comments about other topics that might offend people.
right. I mean, heck, I've been in some communities where, you know, um, the FC, like, you know, let's be honest now. Me as an FC, I swear my head off, right? And I yell my head off. But
Yes,
usually, as long as you don't start arguing with me, I'll never go out my way and directly insult you as a person, right? Um, I've seen certain clans have FCs or commanders or executives where they will go out of their way to put death threats out, to threaten to DDoS, to threaten to IP track, to threaten to stalk, to threaten to literally come up to your house and kill you. Um, I've seen communities where people, you know, call each other very rude words, mentally disabled, stuff like that. Those sort of communities where people are throwing, you know, actual insults at each other, trying to offend each other intentionally. Those are toxic communities, in my opinion. If you find yourself in a community where you're being harassed because, uh, let's say you're not as good as the FC, right? And the FC goes out of his way and says you are brain dead, says, you know, you have multiple disabilities and disorders, and that he is going to what's the word, IP track you and probably DDoS you, right? That's a toxic FC. And if the executives and the commander don't do anything about it, they're toxic. Like, they're proving the toxicity in their community. That's a place you don't want to be
exactly.
in. Like,
The
I
clan
remember.
then gets corrupted in
Right,
some kind of
right.
sense.
Like, I remember you remember when we were in Unique Legacy?
Yes.
There was this one executive officer, right, who in the middle of a team battle, right, several team battles in a row, he turned up drunk, right? And several matches in a row, he'd just sit at the back, wait for us all to die. Like, he'd sit on a corner. Like, let's say we're pushing down the banana on Himmelsdorf. He'd stop at our end, wait for 3 of us to go up the banana. Then he'll just sit at the end and just watch the enemy come up behind us and kill us. And then he'd start shooting. And then his response would be, "Oh, it was a crap tactic. Beep you, beep that." You know, start swearing his head off at us. So me and Martin went and complained to the clan commander, right? This executive, and I'm pretty sure most people listening who would have been from UL will know who I'm talking about, right? Because we made a bit of a huge deal out of this. But let's not mention their name, right? He went out of his way. Like, so me and Martin went to the clan commander and said, "Look, this guy's been giving us grief in clan activities. Here's the replays. Here's a voice chat recording. I think we had one recording at one point, right? And, you know, here's a couple of people who also heard and saw this, right, as witnesses,
Yeah,
right?
all the evidence.
Yeah, here's all the evidence that this person is being hella toxic and just making our life a misery, right? And we weren't saying this to get at this executive officer. We were saying this because it was holding the clan back as a community, right? He was costing the clan matches. He was ruining the mood of the night, of the skirmishes, or team battles. And, we were losing because of it, and nobody likes losing, right? This executive officer finds out we went to the commander with all this evidence. He goes to the commander, claims that we're on a witch hunt after him. Then he goes up to Martin and says that, Martin, if you don't get off my case, I will personally come down, find you where you live, and kill you. Yeah, that's toxic. Avoid that if you can. Another
Yes,
example
very
is
toxic.
same clan commander, not executive, same clan commander, right? Just because he rubbed another executive the wrong way, this executive threatened to expose his address because they got hold of his address, I think, because he made something for the clan commander at one point, some sort of like clan gift, essentially, right? So he knew the clan commander's clan commander's address,
Home address.
home address, right, where his parents lived, where he lived, right? And he threatened to expose this to every single person that really hates the clan commander, and there was a lot of people. He threatened to expose this address to everyone in the World of Tanks community that knew him, just because they didn't get along on some small stuff in the clan. That's the level of toxicity you want to avoid in clans. Where threats are being put out against each other, where people are being degraded, and where people are, being put down over very small things, realistically speaking, right?
Yeah.
Moving on though, because that took a bit of a dark turn, right? Let's move on. Let's touch on some finishing points, shall we? Clans, casual and competitive. How would you summarize the difference between casual and competitive clans, Go?
Well, competitive is more serious and more rewarding,
Right.
while the casual side is more fun, and you get to know each other a lot more better and get to along more personally.
Right. And ultimately deciding where you go comes down to what your expectations are and what your goals are. If you're looking to get reward vehicles and you're a good player and you're looking to progress even further, then you're probably looking at competitive clans. But if you're just looking for a place to hang out, get to know people, have someone to talk to while you're gaming, platoon with, then you're probably looking at the casual side, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going the way you want to go. You choose what you want to be. You choose
uh,
what you want to go for.
Moving on. What would you say? What would you say are the benefits of being in a clan as opposed to going solo, and vice versa? So, if you're in a clan, what's the benefit? If you're solo, what's the benefit? Me personally, I found being in a clan, especially if you're running a clan, can have a huge effect on your mental state of mind. Right? Like, people will give you grief if you're running a clan, or if you're planning on starting up a clan. People will give you grief. People will disagree with you. People will try to argue with you. People will think they know what's best for the community, and people will disregard what you have to say. And that has a huge effect on your mental health, and it's partially why I shut down Phalanx twice now, right? It's not good for your mental health, especially if you don't have much support from the community. But at the same time, it can be quite rewarding if you do have that support, because it's a huge social aspect. It's a huge progression. Like, it helps with progression in the game, because you have the credit boosters, clan boosters, reserves. But going solo can do you a lot of favors in terms of reduced stress levels and just chilling and having fun on your own. What are your thoughts, Scope?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you personally, because that is exactly what I think as well. Because solo more casual than casual clans,
Yeah, definitely.
because it's more of a hobby.
Or
Like
at
you
least it,
play.
or at least it can be. It not always
Yeah,
it is, but it can be more casual than than a casual clan, right?
yeah,
Um,
somewhat.
yeah. Um, Clan activities. Just finally touching on the one last thing, clan activities. So of course you have skirmishes, you have advances, you have clan wars, global maps. Last point of today, what are benefits of participating in clan activities and what are drawbacks of participating in clan activities? Regardless if it's casual or competitive, what would you say, Go?
I mean, I would say it would take a lot of time to take into account because you sacrifice a lot of your time to the game more than you do in real life.
Right.
So eventually you get so caught up that you forget about what's happening around you in real life, and
Right.
yeah,
You see this with a lot of people who are studying and also playing World of Tanks as an escape, and then they get into a
yeah,
competitive clan, and then next thing they know, now they're struggling to balance their social life with their study life or school life and their gaming life, right? Like they struggle to find that balance.
exactly.
For me personally, benefits of participating in clan activities is it's huge for the social aspect. It feels nice to actually win. um, it's great for learning, positions on maps, learning rotations, learning team play on a huge new level that you don't see in random battles or in front lines or anything. The level of team play you see in clan activities goes well above and beyond anything you would have seen like in the standard areas, right? In random battles or in front lines or in a platoon. So that's what it all comes down to for me. And of course, you get the boosters from participating in clan activities like credit booster, XP booster, free XP booster, crew XP booster for clans, right? From the industrial resource points you earn. And then, of course, there's the social aspect of it all. Drawbacks, it can be quite stressful, it can be time consuming. And if you're not doing too well and you're not winning, then it can have a huge effect on how you perceive clans and how you perceive the game. But I guess we'll end it there, right?
Yeah.
Go. Thanks for joining me. If you have any finishing comments, feel free to express them.
No, I think I have made my statements.
Fair enough. Guys, just so you know, Goat streams World of Tanks on Twitch at twitch.tv/GoatingVirtual. Don't forget to check him out. Go say hello. Don't forget to drop him a follow. Goat, thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. Do you have any set schedule for streaming, or is it just kind of whenever you feel like it?
Right now, I am trying, at least, I'm trying to keep my schedule more linear. So
Right.
I'm trying to stream around Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Any specific time or time zone?
It's about around the 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. GMT.
Right. Well, guys, so once again, don't forget to go find him on twitch.tv/GoatingVirtual. Once again, you can find myself at twitch.tv/x101 or youtube.com/x101. Don't forget to check out the What's Up podcast website at x101.wixsite.com/whatsup. I know it's a bit of a long address, guys, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, Season 1, Episode 2 of the What's Up podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, guys. Take care. See you in the next one.